dive into some Bears over the weekend. A lot of controversy, a lot of talk around the Bears in Chicago about what's going on with the lack of starters playing in the ever most important third preseason game, as a lot of people have talked. Buzz, I really quick want to jump in and say, does this lack of playing time scare you? Or is this just a trend in the National Football League that we're just going to have to accept now?
As you know, I'm not overly optimistic this team's going to win anything anyway.
No, I'm not either.
What does concern me is that I really, really want to beat the shit out of the Packers.
Agreed.
I don't think this team, yeah, cool, man, you played against Denver in practice, or, you played against each other in practice. Like, I want to see a well-oiled machine. I understand that injuries are part of the game. Injuries happen. We never want them to happen. It's very unfortunate when they do happen, like, i.e. Adam Shaheen getting hurt, Leonard Floyd breaking his hand, fracturing his hand, whatever. He's going to have to wear a club if he's going to play.
Which I think he will. They have no choice.
He will. He's going to have a club.
They really have no choice. They have no depth on that pass rush anyway.
As far as I'm concerned, like, it does bother me that how many series did we see with these guys? 6?
Yeah, Trubisky's only thrown 20 passes.
And I'm going to tell you something right now, man. Like, I'm so sick and tired of everybody talking this kid up as he's the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Steve
Young, whatever. I just want to see it, dude. Like, yeah. I'm not asking for a whole lot, but I really didn't see a whole lot from Mitch.
No, and I haven't either.
So, like, what the hell am I watching here? Am I getting myself, to be prepared to be blown away, or am I like, is my Chicago Bears mentality and my Chicago Bears mindset, fan set, whatever you want to call it, coming back in like, oh my God, we're gonna suck,
Yeah, when I saw this report that none of them were playing, they announced it very early on Friday. That none of them were playing. And it rocked the sports world. And
it really. I already had sold the game, but they did it again where they announced it early, and it really screwed me for selling this preseason tickets.
Oh, I couldn't get rid of them.
See, I got rid of the first game. I did.
Well, the first game I did too, and then I couldn't get rid of the second.
Yeah, and I couldn't get rid of the second. And I'm like, dude, you got to.
Well, who wants to watch Tyler Bray for 4 quarters? Nobody.
No, that's why I'm not there. That's why we're not there tonight.
Right.
I'll flick back and forth between that and Giolito going,
Cubs are on, too, at 6:05.
You can go. Oh, I can turn it on. It's 6:05. You said it's 6:05?
It is. It's after that. We're good.
Go ahead and carry this conversation.
No, but I look at the fact that, okay, it's right now it's either I feel like I'm getting played over like a sleazy salesman is trying to sell me on something that I can't get. Like, let's say you're at a used car dealer, and you kind of go and you're able to just buy it outright without even driving it. I feel like that's the type of situation I'm in right now, where I'm forced to buy this product that I don't know anything about. I think it's scary, and I think that there's the other side of the spectrum where you could say that this is something that is kind of good, because there's no way to prepare for a couple weeks without having game film on what's going on. This Matt Nagy offense has not been shown at all. We saw a few things in regards to some misdirection in that second preseason game. It was actually the third with what you call the Hall of Fame game being the first. But I haven't seen enough to where this scares the hell out of me, because I feel like I'm getting played, in a sense that, like, I don't know anything, and going into this first game, they could be really, really good and surprise the hell out of me, or they could be a nightmare. Where you're looking at, and I know that they're not going to win anything this year. I know that, but I want to see progression. And to be Mitch Trubisky, and you've only played 1 year in college. You've only seen, 8 games last year or 6 games, whatever it ended up being.
Like 7, I thought.
Yeah,
7 or 8, I don't know.
It's whatever. And you've only taken 20 snaps or 20 throws in preseason. I don't know if I should feel like I'm getting played or I'm being outsmarted, in a sense that maybe Nagy just has a plan.
If that's, you know what, dude, I'm sick of the outsmarting, because that's what happened with the greatest show on turf.
But that's the other thing too.
Remember that?
The Cubs are one of these people, or these teams that are transparent. and they say what they're going to do and they just go and do it. They said they were going to go and this was the rebuild. They followed step for step. And when they bring people in like Daniel Murphy, which has turned into a controversy in some ways, they say, hey, listen, this is who he is now. We understand for his comments, a long time ago, but he's apologized. This is his lifestyle now. This isn't who he is. But with the Bears, I feel like we've always had a franchise that is trying to be secretive and trying to show as little as they can, and I don't know if that's because they're the smartest people in the room or it's because they have the dumbest and they don't want you to see it yet. You get what I'm kind of...
I understand
what I'm kind of spitting here?
Yeah, I understand
it worries the hell out of me because if you look at the Bears' track record, like we said, we're in a spot where I'm not going to believe them until they show me something. Because they haven't shown me anything since 1985. And I know that people are going to bring, 2005, 2006, they go to the Super Bowl. That was a great run because they lucked into a lot of defensive luck, too. Right. I mean, they had no offense. And the ball bounced the ways it needed to bounce for them to get to the Super Bowl. And then a Hall of Fame quarterback carved you up in the second half. So if you want to talk about one season of football since 1985 that we have to hang our hats on, with a team that is as historic and storied as this franchise, that's not good enough for me, and it shouldn't be good enough for any of the viewers either.
Like I just said, man, I don't know what the hell they're going to go do. I don't know what this super high-powered offense is going to go do. You heard the likes of Von Miller saying that Mitch Trubisky looks like an all-star, but who knows if they went out and bought each other beers and, he's a cool guy, man, he's going to be good.
Well, what do you want him to say?
Sorry.
I mean, if you're on Von Miller's spot, do you want to be like, yeah, Mitch Trubisky sucks, I wouldn't buy any tickets. He's a product of the NFL. When the NFL sells more tickets,
but if I was
everybody
NFL
makes
player,
more.
If I was an NFL player, I'd say the opposing quarterback sucks no matter who you are.
Right, but I mean...
But my whole thing is here is like, I hope the kid does well, all that noise, but I haven't seen anything, and I don't understand. Like, I'm irritated. I'm just irritated for 7 series in the preseason. Like, you better come out and you better blow my socks off.
Blow my mind when it comes to. I want to see different plays.
I want to be so entranced by this offense because you know what I've seen? A lot of bubble screens.
Yeah.
If I see a bubble screen to start off a game, I'm telling you right now, Monday Night Football, I'm leaving. I'm walking out. I don't care.
We're gonna have the Sunday night to throw beers at the television, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just. There's not going to be a lot of room for error against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on that Sunday Night Football game. And it's going to be – they're the Sunday night game. They're on display for everybody in the nation to see. And
that's next Sunday.
Yeah. And if they drop the ball and look terrible, after what they did in the preseason by not playing Mitch Trubisky, everybody's going to go back to the lack of reps. Everybody is. And they're not giving themselves any wiggle room when it comes to – they're not doing due diligence on anything when it comes to, holding their asses, saving their asses. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it worries me, man, because I've never seen this done. I don't have anything to relate to them not playing or them playing this little. And Nagy's either a genius and this is something new that's going to take over the league, or he's backed himself into a corner in his first year as Bears head coach.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
it's not really hard to argue about this. Like we don't know shit about the team right now. So
that's frustrating as a fan.
It's irritating to me.
I want to move on to, obviously we're just talking about Nagy in the preseason here, and should the NFL look at shortening the preseason and extending the regular season? There's been a lot of talk that how much revenue money it could bring in by having 2 extra regular season games, and if nobody's playing in the preseason, as we just saw with the Bears, then what is the point of these games? So I wanted your take on that.
Yes and no.
Okay, so...
Yes in shortening the preseason, no in extending the regular season. Reason I say that, man? It's simple. For season ticket holders such as us or people who want to go to the games and stuff like that, this is a money waste. Do one home game, one away game. You do these joint practices during the off season. You have your Bourbonnais camp here in Chicago. You're doing your thing. You're playing these meaningless ass preseason games that cause injury. So do two. Do one home, one away. You want to do your Hall of Fame game? Maybe 1 year two teams got to play 3.
I never understood that idea behind why do these guys need to play a Hall of Fame game? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't understand.
It should be kind of like, you know how like the NBA All-Star game has like that, like obviously the celebrity All-Star game, like they'll have some old people come in and do their thing. But like they have that one challenge where you shoot the free throw, you shoot the 3-pointer, and then you hit from half court, and you see a bunch of legends do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do something like that, like non-contact, just flag football, maybe 2-hand touch, just something fun. It doesn't need to be
something
crazy.
different of it, because this whole idea of playing the Bears had to play 5 of these. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
And I know in the first game nobody suited up who was going to make the roster.
Right. Like I said, one home game, one away game in the preseason, and you do not need to extend the regular season. The football season is long enough at 16 games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, I'm pro extra 2 games.
I don't want to pay for it.
No, I don't either, but I'm pro because I like football.
I love football. I love football
and I think
myself,
that the 2 extra games would go a long way in terms of, we'd be able to sell them. We'd be able to make a little money in our little pocket.
If we're kicking ass, because you got to think for us.
If we're not, then we're eating it, and I get it.
You got to think for us, too. 2 extra games.
That's 2 extra Sundays that we have to...
Not just that, you're extending into, like, January and February. It's cold as balls.
Well, the talk, I would assume, would be to move the season up even earlier then, right? You're not starting in September, you'd start in August. I would hope you wouldn't think about it.
I'd hope so.
I would hope you're not trying to play the Super Bowl in April.
Well, I hope so.
I guess that would open up a whole can of worms for playing it in different spots because remember the idea of, I guess they wouldn't really have to play. They would have to play it in April, right? Be like the first week in April. But then you're competing with the start of baseball, the tourney, and a lot of other things in sports that you're. So I would assume they would move the season up.
Well, you'd have to.
So they would still play the Super Bowl in February because the February is the prime for them. So we maybe see just the 2 games the preseason games that are in.
I'd have to see how they do it.
August, they would.
I'm like totally just pro 2 preseason, 16 regular season. That's all,
Yeah, and it's not going to be, if they move to that and it's just 2 preseason and 16, I'll be happy with that move as well. The last thing I want is more preseason games. The last thing I want is to have to eat tickets left and right as a fan who pays for them, who was texting people left and right last night, hey, you want to go for free? And people still don't want to go and pay for parking and go in there and pay $8 for a beer. They'd rather sit in their house.
Right.
So, tonight's going to be empty at Soldier Field. I'm telling you that right now.
I actually have, like, no desire to watch.
No, I don't either. It doesn't...
Rather watch the Sox, man.
What implications do we have to watch for if Bellamy makes the team or not? That's the main storyline tonight.
Right.
Like...
Exactly.
It doesn't. I like the idea of having more football. That's why I kind of like the extra 2 games, but I'm not going to be mad per se if they just shorten the preseason.
Right.
Because you're right. You can supplement getting rid of those 2 preseasons so much more by, like you said, having practices with other teams, having weeks on weeks with practices with other teams, and maybe opening up the season for like a workout earlier. That way these teams can get together and they don't have to worry about getting injured in a meaningless football game. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that the NFL should really look at it, and I think they're already looking at the 2 extra games based on revenue. It doesn't matter what we think.
It's all about the money,
It's all going to be the almighty dollar that decides this at the end of it. And
Absolutely.
I think it's good for the players, and the NFL isn't going to turn away from more revenue money bringing in for 2 extra more Sundays that mean more. So I think we'll eventually see 2 extra games. I think we're going to see an 18-week season.
I think we see it eventually too. I don't like the idea of it. They better cut it down to 2 preseason, 18 games.
Well, if you look at it too, with the 4 preseason games we're running, if you cut the 2 preseason, we essentially would only pay for 1 extra game.
Right.
Which sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's still a couple hundred that we're going to have to shell out, but it does give the opportunity to maybe sell more or to go more, and I'm all for going to football games.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, we'll be there September 17th.
No, good plug there.
There we go.
So I'm gonna get into this last. This will be the last point of this Bears talk, because we kind of already hit the 4th point about knowing the team and the lack of knowing.
Right.
But I want to talk about Mitch Trubisky, and we've talked a lot about Mitch on this podcast because Mitch is going to be the engine that makes this team go. And if he can't go, the Bears are screwed. They're done. They've built
Well, according to one of our buddies, Chase Daniel's is a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not for that. But yeah, I just want to. What has Mitch Trubisky shown you this preseason that makes you think he's going to be a successful quarterback?
So when we sat here and we watched him, because we actually had the pleasure of watching both games together that he played in. The night that he was it 9 for 14 or something like that?
Yes.
He had a few pinpoint throws, and one thing that he did when Tariq Cohen underran the route, he was fiery about it, which was cool because they kind of showed you the leadership thing that people talk about. With him.
And people have jumped on Cutler for that for forever while they were here. It's good to see a change in pace in that.
Right. Cuddy's the man though.
Well, it has nothing to do with it. It's just an idea of people like everything that's different. We've seen Jay Cutler for how many years here. Now we have a guy who's going to hold people accountable for not running the route. But Jay did that too. I remember him jumping on
Williams
on Mills too.
Oh yeah, Mills. That's right. Yeah,
him missing blocks and pushing him around. Jay, that's the worst lazy narrative I've ever heard. But the media did that to Jay Cutler.
Oh yeah.
He was a leper to them.
Though they ruined Jay Cutler.
But
anyway, as far as Mitch goes, man, like I've seen some good things in the limited, playing time that he got. He didn't play enough to really see a lot of bad things. I feel like when, especially coming out of the 3-step drop back, I feel like he always looks to the right. I think that's something that he needs to work on. I feel like
looking off DBs is something that I had written down as well.
Yeah,
he stares down the route a lot.
He stares down the route a lot, which comes with a unexperienced quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not saying he's not gonna be good, but especially I feel like in the shotgun formation, Mitch is kind of like he has head movement, but with the 3-step dropbacks, I feel like he doesn't have that time to actually look up and survey.
Yeah, and
because he's dropping back. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a lot of, I think, the play design too. On a 3-step drop, it's more designed to get the ball out quick. So I think he probably has one read, and if that read's not there, it's get rid of the ball.
Right. I just saw a few plays where I feel like he had some time. Now with a 5-step, I don't know how many they ran with him. I have to run those numbers, and I will run those numbers. I'll tweet it out later or something, but after my burgers. But I feel that there's some good things I saw and there's some bad things I saw. It's preseason. It's BS. We're playing people who aren't going to make the team or people who are going to the practice squad. But that was one of my main concerns about Mitch is staring down the route. I feel like he did improve on staring down the route out of the shotgun. But as far as the dropbacks, I feel like he's staring down the route, and I feel like that's going to be for the elite corners and even just the everyday corners. That's going to be a jump the route kind of thing because they know to look at this kid's eyes.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm with you.
That's my whole thing about Mitch. I think that I'm still holding out hope the kid's going to be good. I'm not going to go all gung-ho about him because I don't know shit about him. He didn't have weapons last year. The one thing I know for sure about Mitch is that he has the potential to have that pinpoint accuracy because I saw it this preseason, but from what I saw last year, that kid's got legs on him.
Yeah, so and that's what I was going to talk about.
Those are the things that I know about Mitch and what I've seen from Mitch, but now let's see him enter with the new offense. Let's see him enter in a new system. Let's see him enter with new weapons, and let's see what he could really do.
Yeah, I think the one attribute he possesses that makes me, and I had this comparison on draft day. I had actually watched a lot of Mitch Trubisky at North Carolina when he was playing quarterback in college. And I had one comparison to him because every time I saw it, he was able to extend the play. And he had that accuracy that we're talking about, and it was Aaron Rodgers. If he could put it all together and extend plays, he's going to give big, speedy Bears receivers time to get open. And I don't want to say that he's Aaron Rodgers, so viewers don't jump on me. Yeah, right. But I don't want to say he's Aaron Rodgers because I haven't seen enough yet. I think if I look through, I'm going to take my Bears glasses off for a second and say if I were unbiased, I don't think Mitch Trubisky's shown me much in this preseason that makes me think he's going to be successful. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to fail. It's just I am all about reps, and the Bears didn't give him any reps.
Right,
in this, and that worries me.
One thing that bothers me about him is he's like, oh, you haven't seen some stuff. I'm like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah,
You know, like, just shut
that
up
sounds.
for a minute,
That sounds
buddy.
like a kid who didn't read the book report.
Right.
You
like,
know that.
Oh
like,
yeah, you want me to tell you?
you want me to I'll tell you about things. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like. Please, viewers, don't think that I think that they're going to fail. I hope they don't. But you need to take the media out of the media jock that they have going on with the Bears right now and look at what you're seeing.
Oh, so many.
And you're not seeing a lot.
So many people are
and
on
that's
their jock,
either
like,
good or that's really bad.
literally writing articles or literally talking on the radio or literally just, interviews or whatever. It's like, oh, this team's going to be like, how do you know?
You don't.
You don't know.
I don't know
like,
a
who's
damn
been the
thing
most
about-
honest person is Olin Kreutz on Twitter.
Yeah, he's a good follow.
He's a good follow. If you don't follow Olin, just follow him. Like, he has nothing to do with us whatsoever. Maybe one day, hopefully. But he's real about it, man. Like, you know what the hell these guys, like, I haven't seen enough.
No, I haven't.
He has faith that Mitch is going to be good, but he's skeptical of the line.
The line is something that really worries
There's
me.
so many things to be... before week
See, this
one
is
starts,
a good question, too.
Yeah.
That maybe we can ask Danny Parkins. If the offensive line isn't as big as a question mark, which I think it is, and I think a lot of people think it's a big question mark, do you think Mitch plays more this preseason? Are they that worried he's going to get hurt in preseason because the line is that bad? Or are they just trying to protect him from any football?
You see, like, I can't even like make a prediction on that because it's a new head coach and he wants a new system to be implemented. So like, I think that he might be being like super cautious. But what you just said makes sense also. Like, does our line suck like it did with Cuddy and we're gonna get him killed?
Right, and I wonder about that because realistically,
Kyle Long and he's a question mark because of the injuries.
And I know
constantly.
we've talked about Daniels a lot, but a lot of the reports has been saying that when he was playing with the Broncos, they had that scheduled practices for those weeks. He got pushed around a lot.
He's missing blocks.
He's not big. He's not a big guy. Now that doesn't mean he's going to fail. He's going to put weight on. He's going to get bigger. I think he can play the position. But if you look at what's surrounded on that line, if he's not good enough to beat Cush out at guard right now, there's something going on.
Right.
So and if they're keeping Whitehair at center, they're doing it for a reason because he's been terrible too. So has Daniels been that bad as well? And I know that first preseason game he looked really good, but if he's regressing, that's an issue. He's got to put some weight on, So I mean, it's a good question to ask, and I wonder, as much as they're protecting Mitch Trubisky, if that's just maybe something that's happening internal with the line. It's something that, and I
think that's something that we'll actually never know. But I mean. We can speculate.
Or this is just a trend in the NFL. I really wonder.
Right.
There's a lot to be asked about this Bears team, and a lot of question marks going into a really big game. If you're one of those people who think that they're going to contend for a division, you're going to have to win that first game against the Packers because Green Bay ain't going anywhere. They have that man.
And they got Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends in the goddamn league.
So, but that'll be our Bears talk. I want to plug. We're going to be at the Monday night game, September 17th. Buzz and Juice and some SM writers will be in attendance. Come join us at the tailgate, talk some Bears, and get a chance to be in a YouTube video for our first tailgate. I'm hoping that we can do a decent amount of tailgates this year.
Oh yeah,
get out there, meet some of our fans. So like I said, 31st Street lot, meet us there. We'll post a time on our Twitter, a concrete kind of time eventually.
Probably 6 or 7, I assume.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like talk at. Well, I think the game's at 7.
Oh, at night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's Monday Night Football. Yeah, I have no idea when we're
it's
going to get there.
7:15, I would assume. So we're going to have to be there like maybe 4.
4-ish, yeah. Roger.
So probably around, we'll announce the time on the next podcast just so you guys know where to meet us and when to meet us.
Go to Sports Mockery for Chicago sports news and commentary from those who know it best, the fans.